In the last few months, we've seen the hashtag #MeToo movement go from an anti-Trump political strategy to a mass hysteria witch hunt to the cover of Time magazine. Yes, the person of the year is the Silence Breakers. The picture shows a handful of women dressed in somber black, staring at the camera with calm, steely resolve. Okay. Let me say right up front that no man has the right to take any sexual liberty with any female against her will. We have laws against that, and those laws should be enforced without any shaming or backlash toward a woman who stands up for herself. But let's get real. Women insist on the right to tempt men anytime they feel like it. And they, women, are not held accountable for a tiny fraction of the damage that causes. Here are the basics. Humans are a two-sex species. There are living things that can reproduce asexually, but humans are not among them. We have two sexes, and they have different roles that are aimed at the same thing, procreating the species. The male lives to mate with the most desirable woman he can possibly snag, and the female must reject all except the elite few who match her standards. The more desirable she is, the higher those standards can be. Even the most powerful man can be brought to his knees by a woman in full control of her sexual power. This is not news. Did you hear the Weinstein tape? The one that convicted him without trial? The one with him and some Italian model in a hotel hallway? Listen to it. That's not the sound of the most powerful man in Hollywood snapping his fingers and demanding sex. That's the sound of a middle-aged Jewish guy begging. What do you think that woman was wearing? Sweats and a t-shirt? Look, I live just outside Los Angeles, and I'm in Hollywood more often than I'd like to be. Everywhere you turn, you see the world's most beautiful women displaying themselves for maximum sexual impact. And it's not just in showbiz. On South Lake in Pasadena, near where I live, any weekday lunch hour proves how sexy women look in business clothes. Wherever powerful men gather, you will find women dolled up to get their attention, to stimulate their desire. This is where some women will stop listening and start typing angry comments. Save it. I've heard the shtick. Women don't dress for men. We dress for other women. Nonsense. The women who dress for other women are 50 pounds overweight and sporting a flat-top mullet and cargo pants. Or this one. I'm not trying to attract men. I just feel good about myself when I dress up. Right, because when every dude in the room whips his head around to watch you walk by, you do feel good about yourself. Because you're attracting men. It is wired into a woman to have an effect on men, and the better looking she is, the higher up the food chain she can aim. It's like fishing. You toss out the bait, you float the net wide. For every prime tuna, you get a dozen junk fish. And these you leave for lesser women. The average lumpy, misshapen guy gets nothing from the beautiful girls. From the first time he shame walks back to his buddies after being shut down at the school dance, he lives with a hunger that will never be satisfied. He'll probably spend most of his youth in the friend zone. He'll be there to listen to the pretty girl yak about her boyfriends while he moves her furniture and fixes her car. And when she lands the big fish, well, he'll be thrown overboard like the nasty mackerel that he is. Mythology has it that men don't have tender feelings, that we aren't emotionally vulnerable. We do. We are. I know men who have been rejected by their dream girl and never recovered. A close family member of mine spent the last 25 years of his life carrying a torch. She came and went, used him when she needed help, and dropped him like a bad habit when she had better offers going. This kills a man's soul. Every time he is rejected, he believes that much more that he is unlovable. All any halfway attractive woman needs to do is dress up and hit the local bar, and she'll be reminded that guys want her. And the 2 or 3 dudes that rebuild her ego that night, they'll go home feeling even worse about themselves. You really want to tell me that this sort of psychological torture is not as bad as what a woman feels when some construction workers howl at her, in a crude display of their desire for her? Listen, a wise woman, a kind woman, manages her sexual appeal in a thoughtful manner. When a guy in line at Starbucks tells her how nice her dress is, she knows that he's not initiating a discussion about fashion. He's saying, "You're kind of hot. I'm interested." A kind woman, a wise woman, says something like this: "Thank you. My husband likes this one too." That's how it's done. You let him know in a nice way that you're taken. You don't belittle a fellow human being for being attracted to you. And if you don't have a husband, you make one up. And a wise and kind woman does not accept $50 worth of cocktails from guys she has no intention of rewarding. Period. As for the genuine creeps, if some dude gropes you at work, you say, "Hey, you're about to lose your job, asshole, or your teeth when my brothers hear about this." You don't cower, you don't back down. But first, you make damn sure that your own side of the street is clean, that you're dressed appropriately, that you haven't flirted with him or led him on, that you've considered your effect on those around you. If that's the case, you're in the clear, and I'll be the first one to defend you. And you might be the first one to defend me when I get attacked for this video.